Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hey guys, good morning.
What, Skip, how you
My
doing?
man Shannon Sharp on his way to the Hall of Fame this afternoon, where you reside forever and ever.
Yeah,
right?
You know, I got a little temporary spot over there.
Yeah,
you know,
a temporary spot.
little staycation
So
over
what
there.
I want to know is, are you going to take your man Terrell Owens along with you for the ride?
Well,
No?
I wish I could take T.O., but
I
T.O.
thought maybe you could talk him out of it, but nope.
Okay.
No.
No?
I told T.O., I said, T.O., man, that stage, man, can you imagine giving that speech on that stage? Dead serious. I'm going to be on a stage.
His own.
Just not that stage. So hopefully he has a great time with his family and friends. I wish he was there.
Hopefully.
But this is what he chose.
Morning.
Shan Jen at it again.
Gotta take
The
advantage.
Wonder Twins.
Wally's here today.
I don't want to even
Doesn't even
touch
wanna
it
do
now.
it.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a busy show, but we need to get started with what's happening in the college football world, and that is what's happening with Urban Meyer. He was put on paid administrative leave by Ohio State yesterday. This comes after the school announced they are investigating a claim that Urban Meyer knew about a domestic violence allegation from 2015 against one of his assistant coaches. That coach, A.S.Smith, was fired last week. Meyer said he knew nothing about the allegation. Smith's ex-wife, who was the victim of the alleged assault, she said she told Urban Meyer's wife about the incident, and she believes he also knew. There are a lot of layers to this, Shannon, but how will it play out?
Now, we're going to need more information to come out, Skip. But knowing just a little that we know, I think it's going to be very, very hard for Urban Meyer to keep his job. If he were to keep his job, this will be his biggest win of his coaching career. Bigger than those national championships that he won. Because, Skip, in this day and time, with the Me Too movement and the way we view domestic violence, we look at those people differently, and we look at the people that's in a position of authority that could have done something and didn't do anything.
Yep.
We look at them differently. We hold them, now they're not as culpable as the person that committed the act, but we're starting to hold these people accountable because you're in a position of authority and you should have done something.
Yep.
Now, Urban is probably going to say, I didn't know, but plausible deniability, not knowing, because they're going to ask, why didn't you know? Now, the alleged victim says that she told Urban's wife. It's reported that she has a text message, and the wife responds and says, I'm going to tell Urban.
Well, there are dozens of them, but go ahead.
It's going to be hard for them to, because they've been married, I guess, almost 30 years. So now you're going to say, okay, you're going to tell Urban. You said you were going to tell Urban, but you didn't tell him. So in your 29 years of marriage, how many times have you not told Urban something? These coaches and coaches' wives, Skip, they're bonded at the hip because they have to be very, very understanding because they're basically raising the kids alone. And they talk to their significant other about every minute detail of what's going on. And even so, Skip, Shelley Meyer is an employee of Ohio State.
She is.
She has an obligation.
She's an instructor at the College of Nursing. Go ahead.
She has an obligation.
Under Title IX, she does.
Absolutely. Now, if we go back, we know that Urban kind of ran a loose program at Florida.
Oh, they had 31 arrests while he was
In
there.
a 5-year span. Now, granted, he tried to tighten the reins down a little bit, but maybe he was tightening the reins down with players and let one of his coaches slip through the cracks and not hold them accountable like he was holding his players. Skip, I believe it's going to be very, very hard. I say there's a less than 5% chance that Urban Meyer will remain the head coach of Ohio State University because these are some very serious allegations. And because they asked him media day, Skip, he's like, where do you guys come up with this story? Knowing, because it's reported he had intervened in 2009. So he knew that this was a possibility. He knew what this young man was capable of. I get it. The guy in question is the grandson of Urban Meyer's mentor. Started as a 25-year-old intern, kind of worked his way up through the ranks. So Urban has an affinity, he has an infatuation because he feels the guy that got him starting in coaching that means the most to him, that's his blood. I owe it to him. But you owed it to this victim. If this is true, Skip, he owed it to this victim to let this young man go. and to help get this young lady out of harm's way. He didn't do that. So if any of this is true, and it's going to be hard to get this down, but you got one thing before I go, Skip. Remember how he got the job. Jim Tressel didn't know or said he didn't know that his players were trading Ohio State gear for tattoos.
Yep.
That was nothing compared to this. And he lost his job.
He did.
It's going to be almost impossible for Urban to keep this job.
Which is why I am 99.99999% certain he will not keep his job, because I am 99.99999% certain he knew everything about what was going on domestically between this couple. And back to your point, Earl Bruce, for 9 seasons, was the head coach of The Ohio State University from 1979 to 1987. And he is the one, to your point, who gave Urban Meyer his first job in college coaching as a GA, just
grad assistant.
Grad assistant. That was when Urban was 22 and 23 years of age in 86 and 87. At that point, Earl Bruce had a grandson named Zach Smith. And Urban knew the grandson was only 2 or 3 years old at this point, but he knew of him. He knew him as a kid as he was growing up. So Zach Smith, I think we could go so far as to say, is like a son to Urban Meyer.
Yep.
So did he overprotect the young man who is like a son to him? I think so. And he readily admits that the incident that took place when Zach Smith was a graduate assistant for him at Florida in 2009, he knew all about that because he said he and Shelley counseled the couple about how to sort through the fact that he was arrested for domestic violence against a pregnant woman. And guess who went to that pregnant woman and talked her out of pressing charges? Earl Bruce, the grandfather, went to Courtney Smith, Zach Smith's wife, and said, hey, you can't do this to him because if you press charges, he will never coach again. That was in 2009. And as many domestic violence victims do, she backed off. And it continued. And I'm pretty sure because Shelley knew that Urban knew everything. Is it long shot possibility that Shelley, being a longtime head coach's wife, tried to protect him from this, shield him from this, to give him plausible deniability, as you suggest? Maybe, but highly doubtful.
Right.
It's just there's too much. There are too many incidents. It went on and on and on. It even evolved into stalking after she filed for divorce. So he had to know. And then the fact that at the Big Ten Media Day, he just stood there, and it looked to me like he just blatantly lied about knowing about anything about the 2015 incident or anything that's happened since then. He said he had a staff check on it, then they know nothing. Baloney. This is the guy who's like a son to you.
And head coaches at these universities, Skip, I guarantee you, he can tell you every player that didn't come to study hall the night before. He can tell you there's 105 to 120 players. He can tell you every one that didn't show up to class. In a situation like this, he knows nothing.
So, to your big picture point, is it possible that just maybe even a year or so ago, that Urban Meyer could skate on this because Ohio State would just sort of stonewall the media and just say business as usual, onward and upward? But life has changed for the better because now it's a new day. Eyes have been opened. We have all been enlightened because so many women have stood up and said, no more. We will not accept boys will be boys, or this is just the way men are. We will not accept it anymore. So we had the scandal at Baylor and we had the scandal at Michigan State because they both tried to sweep all of the above under the carpet. And it sounds like Urban was sweeping all this under his carpet, as he's probably done on other incidents of this nature before. But it's a new day, starting with the Me Too movement, obviously, and everything else that has opened all of our eyes. And there's no more see no evil. Will not be allowed anymore. So I do not see how Urban Meyer is going to keep his job. And I was pleasantly surprised that The Ohio State University yesterday put him on even paid administrative leave. I thought they just let him go on for a while they said, we're going to investigate this.
Well, they're going to do their due diligence, Skip. But if you look at it, if you look at the instances in which you talked about, let's go back to Penn State. Everybody that was there when Joe Paterno was doing, they got rid of him. If you didn't know, you should have known. You look at Michigan State, the people that were in authority that was over this Nasser, this doctor, they had to go. Art Browse lost his job. A lot of Ken Starr lost his job at Baylor. You didn't know, you should have known. We believe you did know. You're trying to cover your tracks. And maybe this is a situation where Urban Meyer saying, look, I get it. You're trying to protect this young man, but in the process, you're also protecting yourself.
Yep.
Because this is going to look very, very unfavorable on you that you had this type of individual working for you, especially if this happened back then. Well, I guess the incident goes back to 2009?
Yeah.
And then here we are in 2015, this happened and continues to go on. So it's going to look negatively on you. I agree, Skip. We will need more to come out, but it's hard for me to believe that after 29 plus years of marriage, when she texts back and says, I'm going to tell Urban, that she did not tell Urban. It's hard. They could have skipped it.
No, the alleged victim did say, I never heard back. I never got confirmation that she told Urban, but we're just going to presume that she did. So, Jenny Taft, in covering college football for Fox Sports 1, you have spent a good deal of time in and around the Ohio State University football program. Your thoughts?
I wanted to start by saying that because last year, Ohio State was the team I was around the most. I interviewed Urban multiple times. I interviewed the players, and the program has been nothing but good for me in that sense. But it almost made the story that much more shocking because it hit me differently.
Right.
I feel, and we don't know what Urban Meyer knew and didn't know. We still need to find out more. But my problem is this program demands excellence on and off the field, and it's what they live by. Urban Meyer is more than a head football coach. He is Ohio State football. He is a leader to the community, to his players, to the coaches. It's his business to know. And that's where I'm struggling because I don't buy that you don't know this or that you're not doing something more about it. And if it's happening under his watch, then this isn't okay.
It's not okay. And to your point, I've also interviewed Urban numerous times. He comes across as a really good guy, right?
Yes.
Have you been around him
I have
at all?
never been around him. Just watched him on television.
And you know what? He just might be. This could be protecting a guy who's like a son to you to a fault.
Right.
But it's to a fault that is so very wrong if you're the head of the Ohio State University football program. You just can't do it in this day and age.
Correct.
It's like time passed him by. And even though his heart might have been in the right place in his mind, right? Because this is what you do. You protect your assistant coaches. And remember, this is a kid he kind of raised up through the business. You just can't do it at the expense of your football program. And by the way, he just signed a new extension just a few months back. And I know I read on several sites that the new language in the new contract is explicit and harsh about violating Title IX. And this clearly does. So.
What, $40 million left on that contract? 40 plus?
He was the second highest paid coach in college football to Nick Saban.
I just don't know how. He has to know. He's the head coach. These head coaches, and Skip, they have their hands on everything. If you at one of these blue blood programs, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the USCs, you have your hand on everything.
He is a really smart guy, really shrewd operator. He sees and knows all.
Yes, and this, like you said, in the day in which we're in now, Skip, this is for us to think that this is the first time a coach have known one of his assistant coaches have done something and not said anything. We'd be fooling ourselves. But in today's times, the way we look at that, not only are we holding the person that commits the act responsible, we're holding the people that's in a position of authority that can do something. So now it goes back to the old Nixon, Skip. What did you know? When did you know about it? And what did you do about it? It's going to be hard for Urban to say, I didn't know anything. And when I did know, this is what I did do. It's going to be hard for him to get out from under this, considering that his wife, the alleged victim, is saying his wife knew. Every coach knew except Urban. Every coach knew except basically the head coach is what she's saying.
And allow me also to congratulate Brett McMurphy for his reporting on this. I knew him at ESPN. He's a good man who does a great job. He's a dogged reporter who has covered college football for a long time. He's no longer with ESPN, but I'm sure he's taking a lot of fallout for just simply reporting this story. At one point, he said in an interview that he did on ESPN that Urban was accusing him of creating a story. I don't think he created. I think he just reported. That's all. He just dragged it out into the light.
So if he created a story, that means the story is false.
Yep.
There's nothing false about the story. The allegations are, I guess they would have documentations about restraining orders, correct? So this knowledge about 2009 actually happened, 2015. Whether or not, I don't know if they pressed charges in all these situations, but to create a story is to make up something.
Yep.
So he's accusing Brett McMurphy of making this entire thing up. Skip, he's not making this up. Because if he made it up, why did you fire the guy? That's what I want to know. If it's not true, why did you fire him?
He did fire.
Because now he's going to come back and sue your tail because you fired him without cause. So something's not making sense. Skip, something's not making sense to me. There's too many coincidences going on here.
Yeah. Has A.S.M. been convicted of any of the charges? He has not.
No.
But it just doesn't matter. There's too much evidence. There's too much smoke. Which leads to fire, which leads to he will be fired.
Does he coach again?
Maybe after some time away, he might. Maybe
at a big program?
Maybe somebody will rationalize that it wasn't a widespread scandal. It just involved one assistant coach that he was treating like a son. Maybe.
Because I'm sure Jim Tressel is sitting back like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yep.
These guys were getting tattoos. I didn't cover anybody that was being abused or something like that.
No.
Guys, and the player was looking like, it's my jersey. It's my pants. If I want to trade them, if this is what I want to get, so be it. But they's like, Jim, I guess they ended up getting him for lying to the NCAA.
They did.
It's going to be interesting to see if NCAA come in and sit down and talk to Urban Meyer. But like you said, Skip, I give it 95 because, Urban, they're going to look at it long and hard, but they did. Remember, they got rid of Woody Hayes. Now, his situation was entirely different, Skip. But Ohio State does not have a problem moving on from coaches, no matter how great you are. Jim Tressel did win a national championship. So did Urban Meyer. But if you run afoul with them, it might take them a while, but they'll get you up out of there.
Yep. And it is interesting, there were two former head coaches on the staff who were not elevated as an interim coach, Greg Schiano, who still has the Penn State cloud hanging over him, and Kevin Wilson, who was accused of abusing players sort of verbally and through injury-wise in his years as the head coach at Indiana. They're both former head coaches on the staff, but young Ryan Day was elevated, the offensive coordinator, to the head coach.
That's not a coincidence. There's a cloud over them.
Yeah.
You got to put somebody in that position that doesn't have the cloud over.
And by the way, it sounds like Ryan Day is a real fast riser because Mississippi State tried to hire him as their head coach, and then the Tennessee Titans tried to hire him in this offseason to be their offensive coordinator. So he's probably a young stud coach.
And lo and behold,
here he is.
Sometimes the jobs you don't take.
I know.
He might get this job.
He might.
That is a tough position to be in, though.
Yeah.
You got to win there.
They open 1 month from today. That is not an easy position for him.
You got to win there, Skip. That's not. Oh, okay, we'll be okay. No. You gonna win there.
Can you recruit there?
Yes. Oh yeah. Now Urban had a different because Urban could go anywhere because he was at Florida, so he could go back into Florida. He could go all around the country.
And he was from Ohio originally.
Yeah, so he could. And you look at his track record. They see the Zekes. They see all these first-round draft picks at DB, at D-line, at running back, at wide receiver. It's easy for him to Urban Meyer to go and sit. He's like Coach Saban. He go sit in. Hey, your son got the ability to go play in the NFL. Let me help him reach his goals.
Well, we still do need to learn more as this story develops.
We do.
But it's shocking, and that's where we're going to leave it for now. Will Lamar Jackson steal the show tonight, and will he also steal Joe Flacco's job? We'll discuss that next. No mercy. Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. More of the Undisputed podcast is on the way, but first, a quick word from Lightstream. If you're thinking about saving money this summer, why not start by paying less interest on your credit card balances? Refinance with a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. It's an easy way to save hundreds to thousands of dollars and lower your interest rate. Lightstream offers credit card consolidation loans from 5.89% APR with autopay. You can get your funds as soon as the day you apply. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a great interest rate and no fees. So say goodbye to high-interest credit cards this summer and start saving with Lightstream.
And get this, Undisputed listeners can save even more with an additional interest rate discount on top of Lightstream's already low rates. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/undisputed. That's lightstream.com/undisputed. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for more information.
No mercy.
The Bears and Ravens start preseason action in tonight's Hall of Fame game. A lot of eyes will be on rookie Lamar Jackson. Jackson said this week, quote, "I'm a quarterback. That's the first thing I want to show off." Joe Flacco is the starter, but John Harbaugh told Peter King that they'll be creative about getting Lamar on the field. Shannon, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Mm-hmm. How soon will Lamar replace Joe Flacco as the starter?
How soon would Joe Flacco be bad?
Well, like tonight?
Skip, I'm going to say their bye week is week 10. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say by the bye week.
Okay.
I think in years past, there were times that they wanted to be.
That means this is going to be another lost season for the Ravens, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Skip, Joe Flacco hasn't been good since he won that Super Bowl and got that new contract. Let's just be 1,000% with this. Since 2013, he's third worst in yards per attempt. Only Glennon and Osweiler are worse. Only Eli Manning has thrown more interceptions. And remember, Joe Flacco missed 6 games with a torn ACL. So he might be in front of Eli had he not had that situation take place. So with that being said, I believe in years past, they probably wanted to go to the backup, but they didn't feel they had a backup that could be any better than what Joe Flacco was doing on the field. This is why they went out and drafted a quarterback in the first round. And I know Joe was probably upset, like, what are you doing? What are we doing? We're trying to win games. And your interception rate is up, your touchdown rate is down, your completion percentage is down, and we're losing games. And the Ravens, that's not how the Ravens are wired. They're wired to win ball games.
Yep.
So they went out and got this young man. Mm-hmm. Skip, for me, early on, I would exclusively find a way to use him as a quarterback. Let him get his feet wet, and then at some point in time, if you want to branch out, but let him learn. Don't put all this on his plate, be in the slot. Be a gadget guy.
Yep.
He's a quarterback first and foremost. Mm-hmm. He needs to master that before you start tinkering with him in other places. Mm-hmm. Let him get the quarterback position down first. Because, Skip, as far as from waist down, he's as dynamic as Deshaun Watson. I think it's from waist up.
More.
Right.
More dynamic.
I think it's from waist up where Deshaun has the decided advantage.
I got you.
You saw what he did against Alabama in 2 games, and you saw he went head-to-head with Tom Brady and didn't bat an eye. He went to Seattle with the Legion of Boom and threw for over 400.
He did.
So we know what he's capable of. I think with time, I don't know if he's going to be the dynamic passer that Deshaun Watson is, but I think he can be good. And he'll definitely be better than what Joe Flacco has shown over the last 3 years. So I'm going to say by week 10, Lamar Jackson will be in the starting lineup.
That is conventional wisdom. Maybe even more conventional wisdom would be next year, 1 year from today, he will be the starting quarterback of the Ravens, and Joe Flacco will be no more. But I'll tell you what I would do. If I'm John Harbaugh, if I'm Ozzie Newsome, I would throw him into the fire right now because I have seen enough of the guy I have called many times Joe Flacco.
Big game Joe?
Big game Joe. Well, as my friend Terrell Suggs has often argued with me, a lot of times on national TV, he calls him Joe Cool, but he is hanging on to playoff Joe Flacco, and I can't argue against playoff Joe Flacco.
Right.
The problem is getting to the playoffs.
Exactly.
Because now the Ravens under Joe Flacco have missed the playoffs the last 3 years and 4 of the last 5. That means I've seen enough of Joe Flacco. But again, I don't know. This is the wildest, most shocking difference in regular season and playoff performance in a quarterback in the history of this game is Joe Flacco.
No question.
There's nothing like it because he has averaged in regular seasons 18th in QBR. That's his average final position in the QBR ranks, 18th. 18th? That's not very good, right? Yet, in the 2012 playoffs, Joe Flacco turned back into Joe Cool, as Suggs calls him, and he threw 11 touchdowns to no interceptions in those games. Do you remember? He beat Indy at home. That was young luck, so that wasn't a big deal. But then he beat your Broncos in double OT with a Hail Flacco to tie the game to Jacoby Jones. Remember that with 31 seconds left? And then he goes to New England and beats Tom Brady. And by the way, he put his team in position to win 4 playoff games at New England. Not just 2. They won 2, but the position to win 4 at New England. And then, of course, he beats the 49ers and Jim Harbaugh in the Super Bowl. Well, that's sensational. So overall in the playoffs, he's 25 touchdowns to only 10 interceptions. That's all-time great, right? He's 10-5 in the postseason. He's 7-5 on the road, which is hard to do. And like I told you, 2 more, it could be 9-3 on the road. So I can't argue against that. But the problem is you have to get to the playoffs. And he can no longer get you to the playoffs because he turns way below average in the regular season. So what do I see in Lamar Jackson? Look, he's not the smoothest thrower of the football. The completion percentages were not eye-popping. They were a little bit alarming because he went in his 3 years 58%, 56, and 59. Not bad, but not great.
Not great.
But he's got a whip of an arm. I like the way the ball comes out. Once it gets on its way, I like how it looks. I like how fast it gets there. Listen, when I look at the rush yards, just yards gained, I know in college they take off for the sacks. But look on just yards gained in those 3 years.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Almost 2,000, almost 2,000, almost 2,000 yards. These are rush yards. This is a quarterback. So in those 3 years, if you combined all of his yards gained, he had the most yards gained in all of college football, including all the running backs over the last 3 years. Okay, that's special. And it will translate as long as, unlike RG3, if he can just learn to take his 8 yards and get down. And I think he can. I saw that in college. He would get down. His body is, it's long, tall, you know, not. But he seems to have a natural strength and durability. About
he's for me, he looks like he's the same size as Deshaun Watson. Who's about 6'2", 220. So Lamar Jackson is plenty big enough, like you said, has to know when the journey's over. It's okay.
Just give it up.
It's okay to not get that first down and punt the ball away as opposed to taking a shot.
The game is rigged to protect the quarterback. All you have to do is give up. You just go into your slide and they can't touch you. They can't even like touch you down. You know, like they just stay away from you.
Once you go,
the whistle will blow. You're okay.
Right.
So to me, if I'm the Ravens, he's about as far, like if I had to create a quarterback who was as opposite, a polar opposite of Joe Flacco as I could create, I'd create Lamar Jackson. Like he's the flip side. He's everything you don't have, which I like. So why wouldn't you just change the whole flavor of your team? Change everything. Change the tempo, change the pace. Your whole team would have more pep in its step with that kid at
You're
quarterback.
probably right, but Skip, but the way they're constructed right now with that defense, they believe they can go contend. I think they're going to start with Joe. Because, like you said, although they've seen the last 3 years what he's been, but the way this team is constructed, they think they have a team that can go and compete. Now, this is the only team that's in the AFC that does not fear New England. It doesn't matter where they play them. They do not fear the Patriots. And it doesn't matter who Ed Reed can be there, Ray Lewis can be. It doesn't matter. They believe the way they played the game of football with the physicality on both sides of the ball that they can match up with the New England Patriots. And so with that being said, I believe they're going to give Joe Flacco every chance to keep his job.
By the way, all the reports coming out of Ravens camp is Flacco's having his best camp ever as the Ravens starter. Well, no surprise. He's rising to the challenge. We get that. And this is a challenge because they traded up to take Lamar with the last pick in the first round. So he's next.
Well, that's what they hope. That's what they're hoping. That's why they did what they did. Because if you, in a situation like what Joe was in, Skip, if you don't bring anyone in, what's his incentive to improve? He's like, I ain't going nowhere. Look, Ryan Mallett. Y'all ain't finna sit me down for no Ryan Mallett. So he knows that. You take a guy in the first round, Skip, you can train a little harder, you clean up your diet, everything.
He knows.
The writing's on the wall. When they take a guy at your position and he's in the first 3 rounds, you know. I don't know why you do know. They took your job.
So this is shocking to me to even try to process or reprocess this, but after the 2012 season, Joe Flacco became the highest paid player in the National Football League. Joe Flacco, highest paid. I couldn't even get it in my head. I still can't. Since then, and he was really great up to then, they're 38 and 36 in the regular season. So that's, he turned back into that guy. They're 1-1 in the postseason since then.
And 126 mil.
Okay. So I know what I'd do, but it would be a gutsy move.
Yeah.
And it might be unfair to that kid to throw him into that fire, but
Yeah,
I think he can handle it. I think he handled it at Louisville. He rose to occasions.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll get a glimpse tonight.
Yep.
You know, the NFL is a little fast. Even
Yep.
practice is a little faster than college. The game is a little faster than practice.
Yep.
So we'll get an opportunity to see. We'll see how poised he is tonight. Thursday. Tonight.
I'm with you. Look, he's not going to be better than Deshaun, but Deshaun is really good.
Yeah. Deshaun
When he went head-to-head with Deshaun, I remember going back 2
In
years
Clemson.
ago at Clemson, it came down to the end, and he couldn't convert. He had, 4 chances to
Right.
convert. But it's hard, man, and Clemson plays high level. They're a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
And Deshaun is, you want to talk about special. He was special right away.
Yeah, he showed in those 2 games against, like I said, I'm surprised he didn't go higher in the draft. After what he did to go Coach Saban, that'd have been enough for me. I don't need to watch any more tape.
Well, I said Cleveland will forever regret if they don't take Deshaun number 1.
But
now at least they had somebody else fall in their lap.
Yeah.
This is a big stage for him.
Yeah.
Lamar, I mean, I can't imagine the pressure, but it's exciting. He's always said he's a confident guy.
No mercy.
Let's stick to talking about quarterbacks because next
Let's.
up, Kirk Cousins spent 6 seasons with the Redskins, but they've apparently moved on. Defensive back DJ Swearinger called out Cousins while praising Washington's new QB, A.Smith. Swearinger told the Sports Capital, quote, Alex has more command of the offense for sure. He's definitely a leader that we lacked last year. Woo. Shannon, is he being honest about Cousins, or is this a guy just supporting his new quarterback?
Both. Skip, remember, I love to say 2 things can be true. He's being awful supportive. He's showing A.Smith, hey, we got your back, bro. We here for you. But then he backhands and just like kick Kirk Cousins in the butt on the way out.
He did.
Come on. I get that Kirk did not have a contract, and everybody thinks, well, he wasn't all in. But Skip, if you look at the last 3 seasons, Cousins has a higher yards per attempt. He's tied for first in 25-yard plays with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. His completion percentage. Now, I gave him the name Check Down Alex, but Kirk Cousins' completion percentage is higher than A.Smith. Pass and touchdowns, first Cousins has 20 more over 3 seasons. And Reed, his best offensive weapon, has missed 1 year. He's missed 16 games in the previous 3 years. So 16 of a possible 48, he didn't play. A.Smith had Travis Kelce for 47 of a possible 48 games.
Yep.
And Cousins beat him across the board. Come on, man. I get it, Swearinger. You're going to show support for your guy, but you ain't got to blast the man. The man's gone now. He's up out of there. You want to show support for your teammate? I'm a firm believer in that. I'm going to support my guy, but I ain't killing nobody that's walking out the door, Skip, because it's unnecessary. Swearinger, you need to worry about that defense. Don't worry about the offense. First Cousins was the least of your problems, even though he didn't have the long-term commitment. Because making 20 and 24 million, he was good. But that defense, what about y'all play? Tell me about that.
Okay.
You keep talking about the offense and he had command. Oh, he had command. How you know?
Seem to know.
I am going to swear by Swearinger.
I figured you would.
Because he spoke nothing but the cold, hard
No, he
truth.
didn't.
You know it, and I definitely know it because I've been telling you this for 3 years. He just spouted what I've been spouting sitting in the seat
You
for
a
3
first
years.
Cousins hater.
I am a truth teller about Kirk Cousins or Kurt Cousins. All you need to know is what I've told you. This is what Swearinger is seeing with his eyes. He's eye testing A.Smith by what he remembered even in training camp from Kirk Cousins over the last however long he's been there.
Right.
Just do last year. Kirk Cousins is over emotional. He's skittish. He has nervous body language in the huddle and under center occasionally. He's what do I tell you? I've been telling you this for 2 years on this show. Underconfident overachiever. That's Kirk Cousins to a T. You like that? You like that? He's screaming at the media because he's not sure of himself. You like that? I showed you. Remember, he's rubbing the GM.
How you like me now?
How you like me now? So Kirk Cousins, over emotional and skittish, led the Redskins in his 3 years, or is really 5 years of starting, to 26-30-1 record. So he's 4 games under 500. All you need to know about Kirk Cousins is that I couldn't wait as a Dallas Cowboy fan to play the Redskins when Kirk Cousins was the starting quarterback, and he went 1-6 against my Cowboys. He went 0-4 at home against my Cowboys. He went 0-4 versus Dak Prescott of my Dallas Cowboys. And then he got a contract of $84 million guaranteed from your Minnesota Vikings.
I know.
$28 million a year guaranteed for 3 years? That's so outrageously wrong. You can't validate it. You can't back it up. You can't make a case for it.
Skip, you know how free agency works. Free agency is not about being good, it's about being free.
It's about right place, right time.
This is the first time we've ever seen a quarterback under the age of 30 to be completely free with no tags. Normally they have a franchise tag, exclusive, where you got to give up 2 first-rounders or they're injured. Drew Brees became available because what? They said he had a 5-10% chance of playing because of that shoulder.
Yep.
Peyton Manning became available because they said he had a 5 to 10% chance because of the neck. We don't normally see these guys become available. Not saying Kirk Cousins is in that caliber, but I'm saying for a quarterback to become available, all DJ Swearinger could have said this. You can tell Alex Smith is a pro. You can tell he's been here before. The way he commands the huddle, he has the guy's attention. That's the way he could have said it. But no.
Have you ever known DJ Swearinger to be politically correct with anything he said? He just speaks from the hip, shoots from the lip, right? He just says whatever's in his head, he just says it.
But that's all a part about being a leader, Skip.
Okay, all right, that's true. I'll give you that. It's not the greatest thing to say, except he's just being honest. He's just reacting to what he sees, that he sees Alex Smith's command, his body language.
Right.
That's the leader we lacked last year.
But see, I just can't understand why everybody, even we saw Jay Gruden, he took shots at Kirk as he's leaving. He forget that he was leaving. He took shots while he was on his roster. Yeah, he putting up all these stats, but we ain't winning no games.
Yep.
My thing is, Skip, because guess what happened? Okay, when Alex leaves, what are they going to say then to get another quarterback?
Yep.
Oh, this guy got command. Ooh, you can tell he could. Come on.
Okay, well, but Alex Smith is going to back up what DJ said about
But let me tell you what's going to happen. Now, he said what he said, but guess what all the Washington fans and everybody around the country are going to be doing? They're going to be watching to see what DJ Swearinger does.
Okay, that's fine. I'm with you. That's fine.
You know how that works, Skip?
Yeah, but mostly they watch how the quarterback plays, right?
We already know what check
I'm
down.
not sure everybody trains their binoculars on DJ.
But he said, we know what check down's going to do, Skip. He's going to check it down. But now you don't have Kareem Hunt. You don't have Travis Kelce. Now, Reed is a very good tight end, but he stays nicked a lot. Where's your Tyreek Hill? Now, you know Tyreek. Come on.
Well, keep talking, because you're helping my Cowboy case, because I don't want him to be good. I'm scared of Alex Smith.
What you scared of?
Because he's a little, I'm just going to do this. He's a little better than Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum is a little better than Kirk Cousins. I promise you, he's a little better. He's just a little better leader, a little better playmaker. You got him with your Broncos now. He's definitely better than Trevor Siemian was.
And Brock Osweiler.
All right, and all that
and
collection.
Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, all right. So the point is, they dangerously, dramatically overpaid for Kirk Cousins, and now the Redskins have a guy. They have a real live.
They overpaid for Alex Smith.
Well, you could argue that, but look at his record, his starting record, and he had a couple of woeful years in San Francisco, but he's 88-62 as a starting quarterback, 88-62-1. At Kansas City, he won 50 games and lost 26. That'll work because he's a pro football quarterback. That's what he is. I'm not saying he's great. He's not spectacular. You can call him check down if you want, but he will operate with poise and precision and leadership. That's what he'll do.
But the big game, he can't answer. Remember, all they had to do was get in that championship game
he's not
against
Tom Brady.
No,
I never said he was.
In the championship game against the Giants.
I know.
Get 1 first down. Okay, collect 1 third down. Get 1 third down. You win the game against the Giants.
All right.
What's the big game? Pittsburgh. They go to his place in the divisional round. Take the L.
Okay.
Had a 45-14, 45-21 against Indy on the road.
Okay.
Gag that one off.
50-26 as a starting quarterback in Kansas City. Shannon Sharp, who's better, Kirk Cousins or Alex Smith?
Worse.
Sorry, he's just not.
Oh, since when do you like regular season? Since when do you like regular season?
You have to get to the playoffs. And Alex Smith will give Washington a better chance, albeit a long shot. I'm not picking him to be in the playoffs.
I remember you said that. You got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
O'Brien, That's where he lived. Live in the playoffs and the final. I'm just saying.
You know what? He does belong in the same sentence with Alex Smith.
You know what, Skip?
Because that's what they do. They just kind of win in the
There you go. See what you do? See what you do, Skip?
Check down LeBron.
See,
a good response.
you can't leave well enough alone.
You did it. I
didn't do anything.
You
now all of a sudden,
I ran through it.
All of a sudden, you love check down Alex. Oh, he gets
I don't love him.
50
He's
to
just
26.
a little better than Kirk Cousins. That's all I said. He gives them credible leadership at that position. He gives them stability at that position they have not had.
Well, the numbers say, if you're a numbers guy, the numbers say first cousin is better than check down. That's what the numbers say now. You're a numbers guy. You love numbers.
I know. 50 and 26 says it's better than 26 and 30, right?
Oh, so that's what.
What's your restaurant?
Whoa.
Wait, what's your restaurant serve?
I just
W's and L's. Well, guess who's got way more W's than L's? Alex Smith.
Just for me and my 609,000 Twitter followers. Just so we're clear. Yeah, I'm gaining momentum. I'm gaining.
How did you get up to 600?
Don't worry about all that. Like MC Hammer, I'm gaining momentum. Gaining.
How did you buy?
There ain't no box here.
I don't know.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. Just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
So it's wins and losses, not QBR. Is that what we
take wins and losses?
Okay.
But QBR is important.
No. You even had this. Because my guy had them both last year. You know my guy. Oh, walk into him?
Well, remember what my guy did his rookie year after they lost their opening game to Eli and company at home, and they went to Washington, and then Kirk Cousins, right on schedule, went to church. You remember that? This is the ultimate Kirk Cousins play.
You better not have that footage.
They have them. Wait a minute. Do we have that?
No, we don't have them. No, we got to go to break. No, you know what you mean we have it.
He went to church. This is the play of the game. He threw it right to Barry Church in the end zone. They're going to put the game away.
They should have put it away earlier.
What? Who are you throwing to, Kirk? You threw it.
He didn't. It was cover.
Right to my
it was 88.
Waiting for that.
It was cover 4, and he didn't see it. He didn't see the backside safety.
12.
It was 88.
Way to go, Barry Church.
He didn't see the backside safety.
Wait, you threw it right to the safety.
But
what are you doing?
It's not easy.
And guess what? Dak Prescott takes it 80 yards the other way.
Where was DJ Swearinger then?
27 to 23.
Hold on. Was DJ Swearinger on that defense?
I don't even know. I don't care.
Skip.
All I care is Barry Church was on my team.
I will give you this.
Yeah.
In that coverage, you got to know the backside safety is sitting there.
It's just so Kirk Cousins. That's when he turned into Kurt Cousins. You got
to know the safety is back there.
Yep.
So when he clears that first safety, you had nothing. You didn't have anything to hold the backside safety.
It's the cardinal sin of a quarterback to throw an interception in the red zone. You're on the doorstep and you throw it to the other team. And instead of +6, it's -7 the other way, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to hold the backside safety. They didn't have anything to hold the backside safety. And give Barry Church he did a great job of reading the quarterback. Nothing to hold him, and he jumps the rock. Good job.
And I hate to tell Jenny Taft, I'm making a note of this. You are stuck with Kirk Cousins for the next 3 years. You being a long time.
Don't let Skip talk.
I've been listening to you guys for a while now, and I hope you are so wrong because I am praying to the Vikings gods that you are wrong because they have invested in this guy.
He'll be all right.
You know what you should be most worried about is that your man Shannon Sharp loves Kirk Cousins. That should be the kiss of death.
No.
Kiss of death.
I didn't say I don't love him.
Yes,
but
you do. You love him.
But I
call
think
him first cousin.
He's better than what you're giving him credit for.
Okay.
That play though, that's got to give him nightmares. Nightmares.
It happens sometimes.
That changed my whole Cowboy season.
Whatever.
Put Dak Prescott on the map.
Well, perfect. We're going to talk.
That was 13-3 right there.
And then Aaron Rodgers took him off the map.
No.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. You remember that?
Mason Cross.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Well, you know it.
Not yet. You mentioned Dak Prescott, and he spoke again about the Cowboys' National Anthem policy yesterday. We will discuss that next.
No mercy.
Well, Dak Prescott received some criticism for defending Jerry Jones' National Anthem policy. Over the weekend, Dak said the National Anthem was the wrong time and the wrong venue for players to protest. Yesterday, he was asked if he saw the criticism, and Dak said, quote, "It doesn't bother me. Everyone has an opinion. I accepted what they said and respect it. they should respect mine. He then added, I think there was a little misunderstanding of the fact of what I believe in. I never said I didn't believe in social injustice and things that were going on. I just said I didn't think the national anthem was the time. It's 2 minutes out of our day that we could also be spending embracing what our country should be and what our country is going to be one day. That we know that it's not right now. And power to the people that kneel. That is what they believe in, and they should be able to kneel. For me, the game of football has been such a peace. It's a moment for me to be at peace and think about all the great things our country does have, even though we know it's not good for us right now. Boy, he has been sharing plenty of thoughts on the matter. And Shannon, I would like to start with you. We've talked about everything he said, but did you like Dak saying this specifically and following up?
No. And because here's the thing, Skip. If it didn't bother you, why are you trying to clarify it? It bothered him not because of what they said on social media. It's a lot about who said it. There are a lot of prominent people that had some very negative things to say in these memes that they was portraying Dak as he didn't like. Skip, he didn't say it. All he did was basically double down on what he said. He said that it's 2 minutes out of our day that could be out of our day we could be spending embracing what our country should be. Dak, you know this national anthem's been out for a while. They had a national anthem during slavery. I guess they should have embraced what this country was going to be. Don't even worry about it. We could. What about doing the civil rights and Jim Crow, Skip? They were playing the national anthem. I guess they could have embraced it. But I'd be very, very interested to know, since he loved this national anthem and it means so much to him, what he thought about Jerry Jones wearing that hat during the national anthem. That's only 2 minutes out of his day, and Jerry couldn't take his hat off his head. Dak, I'd be very interested to see what you have to say on that. But that's for another day. His message didn't change, Skip. He was hoping the perception would change. But what did he clarify? Still, he believed, hey, it means so much to me. It's not the time, it's not the venue, blah, blah, blah. Nothing changed. What happened was there are a lot of prominent people with big names that had a lot of negative things to say about Dak Prescott. And it impacted him in such a way he felt it necessary. Although nothing changed, he hoped this clarification would change the perception, but it's not, because basically all you're doing is doubling down what you said in the beginning of what the national anthem means to you, and then you try to tack this on. Oh, I believe in fighting for social injustice. I think he mentioned something I read where he's like, now Malcolm Jenkins, that's something I can get behind because he's doing yada yada yada. I get all that, but that ain't what you said. You said what you said, and you got the blowback, and you didn't like it. And it bothered you. So that to say it didn't bother you would be disingenuous, because the old saying goes, Skip, an eagle doesn't catch flies. He's unconcerned with them. They don't bother him. So why would he waste his time catching a fly? See, if it didn't bother him, if he was unconcerned with what was said, there would be no need to clarify or to adjust anything in his statement. So no, he stand pat. I stand pat on where I stand.
That's the first time you've ever compared a cowboy to an eagle. Right? But I get you. That is true. Dak Prescott is a lowercase eagle to me. He is above all those flies. And the first mistake he made was reading anything on Twitter, be it from big people or little people. I just say, don't do it. If you're going to be the quarterback of America's team, you know and I know, you better have the thickest skin in sports.
Oh, yeah.
You better be able to rise above whatever it is, whatever the criticism or the controversy is, and just go on to the next day. And I agree with you that this came across as almost a non-apology apology. It's like, I'm trying to apologize, but I'm not going to back off anything I said. Well, then don't start back down that path again.
Exactly.
Just leave it be and go on. You said what you said. You meant what you said. You believed. I believe he believed heart and soul what he said. Just let it lay. But you know and I know, life is about timing. Everything is timing. And Dak found himself a couple of days ago at the wrong place at the very worst time, because he said all these same things, not to this depth. But he had the very same anthem stance in 2016 when he was a rookie and in 2017 last year. But what just happened? Jerry Jones had just issued his dictatorial edict My players will all stand for the anthem, and furthermore, they will toe that line. Right?
So you can't be by the bench, Skip.
No,
you
can't
got to
be
be
by
to
the
line.
bench. And President Trump had tripled down by tweeting right after that, way to go, Jerry. That is what the league should do. Boom. So Jerry is now aligned with President Trump, and you know how that looks.
And they got Dak aligned with them.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Dak with his statement, and it appears to much of the world, much of the Twitterverse, it looks like Dak, the quarterback and the new leader of the Dallas Cowboys, now that there's no Witten or Dez,
Right.
that the new leader has just sold out. He has just kowtowed to the head cowboy, that he has basically just said, yes, massa, I'll do whatever you and President Trump tell me to do. I'll just go right along. I'll fall right in line. That's how it came across to you and many others. And I can't wipe that clean because I know that's how it came across.
Yeah.
But he did say the same thing in 2016 and 17, and I think he's getting unfairly treated this way.
So clarification was not needed because you feel the exact same way. But what happens, Skip, here's the thing. If you tell him to stay off social media, okay, fine. But if he don't respond, but Skip, when he went to Twitter and he saw that Stephen and Django Unchained, the Samuel Jackson character, and that comes up under his mentions, that's him. He sees that. You don't want that. When people are calling him that nocturnal animal that only comes out at night. He doesn't like that.
No.
So he had no, I don't believe, as much as he didn't want to respond, and because of some of the people who was tweeting that at him, he felt he had to respond.
Yep.
I don't know, even in his clarification, which is not a clarification, he's basically saying, this is what I mean, okay. Take it what it's worth. I'm trying to clarify. I just hope you get a different understanding of what I'm saying. No, they understand fine. They understood what you said the first time. They understood it.
Even though he went to great lengths to point out, I strongly believe in the cause for which Colin Kaepernick initially sat and then kneeled.
Right.
But it's time now to take new action instead of taking a knee.
Right.
He made it very clear. He thought taking a knee had served its purpose and run its course.
Right.
It's time to go somewhere new with new action. Didn't matter. Timing is everything. Wrong place, wrong time.
And I believe had he not said time and venue, because people are saying, okay, when is the right time to protest injustice in America? The slaying of unarmed, the inequality that we see.
Right.
When is the venue? So what time of day and where is the venue that we can get our point across? Tell us that. See, Skip, if he'd just leave time and venue, because a lot of times he added things that didn't need to be in there. People are like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yep.
There's no wrong time. There's no wrong venue, especially when we see something that's going on in America. It's kind of like not the same thing, but Urban Meyer, yeah, that's your friend, but that's I understand that he's like a son to you.
Yep.
But the right thing to do is to do what you should have done, which is go to authorities, go to your bosses, and then you fire him. That way you cover your bases. Dak, you can't say when you see what's going on and hope what our country should be. Well, our country is not like that, and so people have to do things that. Not the appropriate time, as you would say, Dak, and the venues aren't great, but this is what you have to do. Do you realize that how you got to play black quarterback? There was a time, Dak Prescott, no matter how great you were, no matter how long you toed the line and loved that anthem, you couldn't play quarterback. Forget for the Dallas Cowboys, for no NFL team.
Yep.
I think he forgot that. I think Dak think that, hey, all this, I was gonna play quarterback regardless. Dak, you sadly mistaken. I understand you're from Louisiana, but you're from the South. You played your college ball in Mississippi. You ought to know.
Where did Doug Williams play his college ball?
Grambling, Louisiana.
Where is that? Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Not too far from where Dak Prescott grew up.
Absolutely.
That's where I went in like 1976 to spend a whole week with this kid at Grambling named Doug Williams, who I thought was going to be a first-round draft choice, and did a big blowout piece for the LA Times. And in it, I talked to one general manager who's told me that we just don't think these black kids have the skills, the mental skills, I think he said, to play in our
process
league.
Information.
Process. And Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, but that's the history, and yet the history of the Dallas Cowboys will tell you it is the most loved and the most hated team, I think, in the world. It is the most valuable team in the whole world. So if you're going to be the quarterback and you're going to take any position on any controversial issue of this magnitude, you're going to get love and a whole lot of hate. And you're just going to have to accept it if you're going to make that statement. And yet, what statement did Art Rooney, the head of the Pittsburgh Steelers, make 2 days ago? He said, everyone wants the players to stand, including most of the players, right?
Yeah.
And you buy that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe the players do want to stand,
Okay.
but I believe a lot of the players want this what they see going on in their communities.
I got that. But again, it's because he's a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and he made that statement right on the heels of Jerry Trump's statements.
Right.
Then he's being condemned. Zeke Elliott's being condemned. And yet there are a whole lot of players who aren't being condemned who just say, I'm going to stand for the anthem. That doesn't mean they don't believe in the black community causes that are so important now.
Skip, all you had to do, once you make a statement, just refer everybody back to your statement. You don't have to expand on it. See, when you start to expand, you start to add. My original statement, I've always stood for the anthem. The anthem, this is what the anthem means.
He should have just gone on to the next day.
That's it.
You know, I agree.
I've already said what I said about the anthem. There's nothing else for me to add. Jerry feels the way he feels. I feel the way I feel. Then you start expanding, and then especially after Jerry said what he said, because Jerry made it say like, bruh, y'all know. Y'all know what type of situation this is.
That's how it came
now,
across.
if you want to stay here, you do what I say. If you don't, you're going to have to move along like the lady told my grandmother, my great-grandmother. You have to move on along now.
There you go. So, in the end, Dak Prescott is entering his third year in the NFL, and he is still learning, I think, very quickly.
Boy.
I still believe in him, but I think he just learned another lesson.
He got the Skip. Dak has the power. Because guess what? When they have one of these big old sponsorship dinners and they want these big guys to come, who you think Jerry calling? He gonna call Dak Prescott.
That is a fact.
Dak, can you come show up at the Salvation Army or this big old thing? Dak, can you show up for me? Okay.
Well,
Jerry.
to that point, who did 14 companies call to endorse their products? They called Dak Prescott. Does that have something to do with it? It just might.
And he won that contract. Like you said, Kirk Cousins got 3 years, 84 fully guaranteed.
Yep.
Dak said, I should get at least that.
No more Cousins talk for
I
sure.
got-
Thank you.
That's all I got. I
You
mean,
got it.
Dak is learning real quickly what it's going to be like to be the face of that franchise. There's never a day off for that
Nope,
quarterback.
that's
We're
a
going to
fact.
talk about a different QB. Did Tom Brady get a new offensive weapon yesterday? We'll
Here we
discuss
go
that
again.
next.
No mercy.
Hi, guys. Shannon Sharp here. More of Undisputed Podcast is on the way. But first, a word from Buffalo Wild Wings. A great man once said, baseball is the wings of sports. It didn't make sense then, and it really doesn't make sense now. But we're inclined to agree. Because baseball is great and wings are great, and you can find both at Buffalo Wild Wings. And because baseball has pop flies and wings help you fly, we don't know. Maybe the man is saying baseball is America's game and wings are America's chicken. It makes sense. Don't dwell on it. The point is, we've got baseball, we've got delicious wings. All we're missing is you. Come for the wings, stay for the baseball. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
Well, Tom Brady's wide receiver group seems to constantly change, and the Patriots cut Jordan Matthews yesterday after he signed a one-year deal this offseason, but he reportedly suffered a significant hamstring injury on Sunday. The Patriots may be adding former Titans wide receiver Eric Decker, who worked out for the team this week. And yes, remember, they will be without Julian Edelman for the first 4 games of the season. Shannon, what does this tell you?
It tells me that Coach Belichick says either you're going to pull some weight or you got to go. I guess he was practicing well, playing well, and then he got nicked his hamstring, and Coach Belichick says, you know what? You're not going to be doing us any good, rehabbing on our dime, so we're going to let you go ahead and go. We're going to bring Eric Decker, and it looks like they're going to sign Dak. Jordan Matthews, Skip, he really hasn't played well since he's left Chip Kelly. Close to 900 yards his first 2 years. But he's always had this little injury bug.
He almost had 1,000 yards.
Almost had second.
2015,
Yeah. He's always had this little injury bug that just props
Yes.
up. And I'm sure that factored into Coach Belichick's decision of, I was kind of hoping you were over this bug. Now, the last couple of years, Dak has also suffered the injury bug. But I do believe that Eric Decker is an upgrade over Jordan Matthews. He had his best years playing with who, Skip? Peyton Manning. So you have a guy in Tom Brady that knows what he's doing with the football, knows where to go with the football, is in complete command of this offense. And so I expect him to, if Dak comes in this offense, I can see him catching 40, 50 balls, especially with Edelman being out the first 4 games.
Yep.
Gronk is still there now. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady can win without Gronk. But you look at his numbers when Gronk's on the field, and you look at his numbers when Gronk isn't on the field, they're substantially different. And plus, Dak fits the mold. Gronk, Edelman, they got them old Gattaca guys. All them old Gattaca guys. He like them.
They all kind of look alike.
Chris Hogan.
They all look alike.
They all look alike.
Huh? Don't they all look alike?
Yeah.
I can't even tell them apart. Yeah, that's interesting. Shannon Sharp,
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell you for 2 years, Bill Belichick can get away with near murder when it comes to the wideout position because it just doesn't matter. He has the greatest quarterback in the history of pro football, who's also, to use your term, the greatest makeup artist ever because he can just cover up all the blemishes. It just doesn't matter. Just give him that guy, Joe Smith.
Second best.
Huh?
Second best.
No, he's the greatest ever. You know it.
Joe.
Said that under your
So, look what just happened. Jordan Matthews was sort of the offseason signee by the New England Patriots because Jordan Matthews has got some ability.
Yeah.
He played at my school, Vanderbilt, and he is still the SEC all-time career leader in catches and yards caught. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
The SEC, it's a pretty good conference, right? And he's still the all-time career leader is Jordan Matthews. And those 3 years in Philadelphia they weren't great, but they were pretty good.
They were decent.
Right?
Yeah.
And guess who fell in love with Jordan Matthews, who loved him like a brother, was walking to him, your guy Carson Wentz. He loved him some Jordan Matthews. And they traded Jordan Matthews straight up for Ronald Darby, who's a really good player. So that shows you that Buffalo really valued Jordan Matthews and
correct.
thought that he was,
Right.
that's pretty, that's weighty trade,
But
right?
they needed a receiver. They had let Robert Woods go.
I
They had
got
let
it.
Sammy
I got
Watkins
it.
go. Marquise Goodwin was gone.
Yep.
So they needed a
But
receiver.
Ronald Darby is a first-round talent.
Yeah.
Like he's a playmaking top-tier cornerback,
Yeah.
and so they valued Jordan Matthews in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz was devastated and told the Philadelphia media, I don't have all the quotes, but he just went on and on about this is a tough day, man, because he was like my brother, and now he's gone to Buffalo. And he got nicked and he got knacked and he's had a series of injuries, and
4
so
games here,
they
2 games
let him
there,
go.
game there.
And so I thought, boy, what a steal for the Patriots to just swoop him up and pay him only $300,000 guaranteed and $1 million for the year.
Right.
So I thought, well, Brady finally has a viable weapon at the wideout position, and all of a sudden he pulls. Remember, on Saturday, Tom Brady threw a touchdown pass to Jordan Matthews and ran down and hugged him after the touchdown pass. That's how close they were appearing to get.
That's
right?
Coach Belichick said, well, you got to go.
Okay.
Anybody that's good with him, you got to go.
That was it. That's all Belichick needs to see.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll see how hard I can make it. Let's see your degree of difficulty go up now, Tom Brady, because I'm going to take him away.
That ain't what he did.
Well, I think he did do that because everybody thought, even after the hamstring pull, most of the New England media speculated they would hold on to Jordan Matthews just because there's no Julian Edelman for 4 games. Right. And now there's no Jordan Matthews, so you're going to bring in what's left of Eric Decker. He's on his last legs.
Yeah.
Do you think he can outrun Jordan Matthews? No. Sorry.
No.
So all of a sudden it's Chris Hogan and Philip Dorsett and Kenny Britt and Cordero Patterson and a bunch of no-name kids. This is it? That's all you got to work with?
Well, he got him a model group. Look at all the guys with the shadow beard. You got Edelman with the shadow, Dak with the shadow, Brady with the shadow.
Yeah, but the ultimate model, Amendola, is now a Dolphin.
Yeah.
Right?
So, look, Tom Brady will be just fine. Coach Belichick says you just
he will be just fine because he's just fine with just throw anybody. I told you could go out for the season opener and pick guys out of the stands. Hey, you want to play receiver today? And he would figure out how to win that game.
Tom Brady messed up. Huh? No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Skip, get these guys some credit. You make it seem you actually believe
he cut Jordan Matthews. He just cut him.
He was injured.
Pulled his hamstring.
You can't make the club in the tub.
Okay, but how much harder can you make it on poor Tom Brady?
You make it seem like Eric Decker, he's not a competent receiver.
Well, he's competed, but
okay.
Again, he's just another guy. Right?
No, he ain't no guy.
Yeah.
The guy's had like 3 1,000-yard seasons. He's not what he was when he was with Peyton. And we saw the precipitous drop-off when he went to the Jets, but look at what was throwing him the ball. Now he has a guy that can get him the ball. Skip, The dude made Tebow look good. So
You know what? He did not. In fact, if you really know what happened that year, he and Tebow were never on the same page. They had no connection, no rapport, no wavelength.
Nobody had a rapport with him, Skip.
In fact, Eric Decker hurt Tim Tebow. He did. He hurt him. He did. I'm serious.
Jed, I'm
You
aghast.
poked the bear there. We're going to bring up Tebow.
Skip.
I'm serious. He hurt him.
Skip.
I'd be like, what are you doing?
It's hard to have a rapport when one time the ball's gonna hit me in my chest, the next time the ball's gonna kill worms that's eating grass on the field.
Yep.
The next time it's gonna hit an eagle in the sky or hit the popcorn lady in the head.
Yep.
I mean, so it's hard to get a rapport and get on the same page.
Yep. As the great Eric Mangini once said back on ESPN in my days there,
What'd he say?
the later in the game it gets, the more accurate Tim Tebow gets. And he got deadly accurate in the last 5 minutes of
Well,
those
we're gonna
games.
hold him out until the last 5 minutes of the game because he's killing us in the first 55 minutes of the game.
But then who won the game? Who got to go to your restaurant? Tim Tebow. Division championship.
Skip, they were winning games with 4 completions. This was 20.
Not every game. There was one that they won.
There were a couple of them.
Yeah.
This was 2011, not 1941.
Yeah, go look at Eric Decker. He was just a disaster.
No, he wasn't.
It was mostly Demarius.
No, well, DT was hurt a lot that year. DT was hurt. Dak played well.
Deck.
It was,
How do you get to be Deck?
That's
Me,
what
just
everybody-
Your
Decker.
nickname going.
Yeah.
That's what it. Why do you got a problem with Dak? I mean, look at it. He's gonna fit right in.
Well, at
just
least
with the Patriot receiver.
He's another with a famous spouse, right?
Yeah,
So
that's what y'all like.
Yeah, we got lots of those.
Y'all like models, and Edelman had him a model. Amendola had a model. Jimmy G had a model.
That's true.
Had a
Oh,
couple- Jimmy G had a
God.
couple
That
of
was
models. Don't do that, Jenny.
Yeah, but
Jenny.
there's a big difference between a model and an
And Giselle.
Instagram model.
Yeah, no Insta.
Yeah.
We can't compare anyone to Giselle.
I mean, Giselle top of it, but I'm just saying. It's okay. Let Jimmy. I mean, so I guess if you get you're gonna play quarterback or wide receiver, you got to get you a model.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, it just doesn't matter.
What you
Throw
mean it
anybody
doesn't
out
matter?
there. Tom Brady, can you imagine this? He's the favorite to be the MVP. His team is favored once again to win the Super Bowl, and Bill Belichick just cuts his best wide out. Just cut it.
That ain't his best wide
Yeah,
out.
it is. It's his best.
Oh, so he better than Edelman?
Well, I mean, he's going to be gone for 4 games. You need somebody to play
Okay, is he
wide
better
out.
than Gronk? Is he better than Hogan?
Is Gronk a wide out?
Is he better than Hogan?
Yep.
No, stop it, Skip.
Better. When did you fall in love with Chris Hogan?
Hogan just had 100 yards in the Super Bowl. He's got the record for the most receiving yards in a playoff game in Patriots history.
He's an undrafted free agent.
I don't. So was Wes Welker. He got almost 900 catches. So was Rod Smith. There are a lot of undrafted players. They
So
made a
was
mistake.
Danny Amendola. Just keep listing.
Exactly.
These are all the guys Tom Brady made famous.
They
Just
make
keep
'em-
going. It's a
they-
long list.
Skip, it's not an exact science. Evaluators, they make mistakes. They made a mistake on O'Shea. They didn't think Shea could play.
They did not. The
So-
Cowboys definitely didn't think you could play.
You know
After
what?
ran that 4.8.
You know what? That's why I had to do the Cowboys bad. That's why I had to do them bad.
Did you
Skip.
do them bad? I
Did
don't
them bad.
remember you doing them bad.
Oh yeah. In 2000, oh yeah, I cooked them.
2000?
Oh, I got Woody. Yeah.
Well, that
98.
was a bad team.
98.
98 bad team.
What?
Yeah, those are dark days.
You're admitting it, though.
well-
So in
it's
other
just
words,
bad.
they hadn't been good for a very long time, and somehow yet they remain America's team.
Wait a minute. They were great in 2014. They were great in 2016.
No. 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
And who did them in both times? Who was that quarterback?
Well, the refs did them in.
No.
They did?
That old gunslinger up in the Lambo.
Gunslinger?
He go all around. He go, hey,
Is he the place kicker now?
no. With a bum leg. He's out there with a cane.
Really?
Yeah, with a calf. His calf was straight. He's like,
The
hey.
ref stole it from
They
him?
propped him up.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
And then when he came to
know,
Jerry's
he wasn't
World.
very good in that
When he
game.
came to Jerry's World.
Yeah.
Oh, Skip.
Mason Cross.
Oh, Skip, that hurt.
Yep.
You had a good old, you were like, oh, we gonna win this game. Aaron said, nah, I ain't gonna let
What
y'all
were we
do it.
down like 28-3 or whatever it was? Oh, that's the Patriots score.
But see, that's what makes it hurt even worse.
Yep.
Is that you're down big and then you come back and you actually, oh, we got him now.
we got him. We had him.
No, you got that L.
Jenny, it took a 51-yard field goal and then a 56-yard field goal, and both looked like they were going to miss, one to the right and one to the left. One got duck hooked at the buzzer and was completely outside the uprights going left like a duck hook. How does it suddenly fade back inside the crossbar? I've never seen anything like it before. Hand of
God's
God.
plan.
It was a hand
God's
of God.
plan.
Yep.
God's plan.
And that's what cost me that game.
Cost you some
And
too,
probably
too.
cost me the Super Bowl because they would have beaten Atlanta.
Huh?
They would have had Atlanta at home to get to the Super Bowl. Come on.
Did you see what Atlanta did to Green Bay?
Well, Green Bay wasn't very good.
But y'all couldn't stop the pass. How y'all was gonna stop Julio?
But for the most part, most of them aren't really good defenders coming out because they play zone.
He's mellow. He doesn't
Is
play
he?
defense.
But when you scored 30,
Mello.
when you could score 30, 28 points a night, you like, oh, who cares about this?
Plus,
He's going to have to go ahead.
He doesn't catch and shoot. He
No,
backs
that's not
you
it.
down.
Yes.
Right. He's
He
going to be
is the
standing in the corner.
all-time ball stopper. He needs the ball in the low
Yes.
post, and he needs time. You need to give him 20 seconds on the clock to back somebody down and create a shot. And he can still do it at a fairly high level, but that's not how that offense clicks.
No.
It's not how it goes.
If they're going to be successful, Melo is going to have to do what D. Wade did last year with Cleveland and swallow his pride and say, hey, man, I know I was, but I'm not the same. If I need to come up, whatever it is I need to do.
We've been saying that for the longest. But I tell you what, Skip, I know a guy that had that same thing, that they give him the ball early. I used to go to Mike and say, Mike, just give me one early in the first quarter, then I'll be there for you in the fourth. I said, don't come to me in the third quarter.
Oh, you're talking about you.
Yeah, Skip.
Oh, we suddenly went.
Yeah, I said, Mike, call that basic cross for me. Call me that basic cross to that wild.
And he's talking about the Broncos.
Call me wild. Let me get my hands on that ball, then come fourth quarter. Eddie, I start cooking them. You about to get it. You about to get it. You about to get it.
Baltimore versus Oakland. That was Anthony Dorsett bad angle, man. He's a bad angle right
Worst
there.
angle in
You
the
should have got worst angle in the history of football. Thank you.
I ain't gonna let y'all talk about
Man, Sarah Goose out there landing on Gannon. Man, come on, man. Y'all was out there cheating.
I'm not gonna let y'all talk about Anthony Dorsett. He took a great angle. I just outran him.
Yeah.
You did not run. You outran him once he took the bad angle.
Y'all be hating.
These two agree. I'm surprised.
Didn't you set up the referee on the play before? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Because he interfered with me.
See, I just said cheating. Didn't I say they be out
Marquez
here?
Pope interfered with me on the play before. And I just let the referee know. Like, he grabbed me. You missed that one. He's like, oh, shit, I got you.
Got you.
He heard him, too. He got the little early.
How many yards was it? Like 90?
Yeah,
Oh, man, it was ridiculous.
It's still the
How long was it?
longest play from scrimmage pass in NFL postseason history.
It's the longest?
Longest.
Are we sure about this?
100. That's my favorite record. You know what my favorite record is? Mine until it get broken.
I like
My
that.
favorite than Thriller. I like that one better than Thriller. It ain't going nowhere. Don't be trying to break it, Tidy. Nobody.
So are you comparing yourself to Carmelo?
Oh, no. I knew what I was. I was well aware of what I was. Mike didn't wear me down. Carswell, called him House, the backup tight end. He started playing more, and I was fresh in the fourth quarter to be able to cook him.
But you only cooked them once.
That's all I needed back then,
That's
Skip.
all he needed that
I needed
one
one
game.
That's what they call your boy, big play Shay.
Really?
Not big game. I used to be big game because I give you 13 for $160, give you 12 for $214. But I was just one shot, one kill. It hurt too.
Jim,
Them kinda
isn't
hurt.
it interesting how we just went from the Houston Rockets all the way back to his career again?
No,
was
I'm
well
talking about
done.
Multiple plays,
Well
though.
done.
Multiple plays.
Does this mean that somebody is living in the past? I don't know.
Carmelo should be looking to
He
you
didn't just
for
give us
some
one, he gave us multiple.
advice on how to handle. We're back to the.
You want one,
jersey.
Skip?
That's sacrilegious.
Let's be
What
honest.
you mean
We
it's
know he doesn't
sacrilegious?
want one.
It's the
What?
Lakers.
Those
I thought
Kobe
it was
fans.
Sabalas at first.
Don't do that.
Did you get one of these yet?
No, I didn't.
You know what?
Nah,
Those
okay.
Kobe fans out there, they might be burning those pretty soon.
No more burning of the jerseys. Eddie, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Appreciate
gonna give
you
me
being
one.
here. It's always a good time. All right. Is there too much hype for Saquon Barkley? We'll discuss that with former Giants running back Rashad Jennings next.
No mercy.
Well, the Giants are trying to bounce back from a disappointing 3-13 season with a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley. Optimism is so high that anonymous scout told NJ.com his strategy against the Giants is to, quote, pray for injuries and bad weather. Barkley is already generating a lot of buzz. He signed a huge contract and led the NFL in jersey sales this offseason. But Giants co-owner Jon Meyer said about Barkley, quote, I do get a little nervous about all the hype. We're joined now by former Giants running back Rashad Jennings. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Appreciate y'all having me on.
When you hear about all the hype
Yeah.
with Saquon, is there too much? What do you make of it?
I mean, he was the second overall draft pick, so obviously he's going to have hype. Is it too much? I mean, what are you determining by? He hasn't played a down yet in the NFL, so you have to determine it based upon what he did at the collegiate level, and he dominated. Arguably, he's one of the top guys. Obviously, the top guy coming out of the draft. He was second overall pick. He's going to have hype. He needs to perform. I think he has a lot of pressure more than hype. The hype is there. Hype is real because of his tangibles. I mean, this kid, his legs, everything about him says that he can come in the league and play right away. Right. So I don't think he's overhyped. I just think he needs an opportunity to prove it right.
So you know about playing running back in New York City for the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
What's the media pressure like? Is it more than you experienced elsewhere?
It's tough.
Yeah.
You know, anything you do in New York can and will be held against you, all good and all bad. Mm-hmm. And you're under a microscope. You're playing with a gridiron quarterback, obviously Eli Manning. Mm-hmm. You have somebody who the camera loves over there with Odell Beckham. Yeah. It's in New York. Everybody's going to have pressure on you. He was the #1 jersey sale out.
He was.
So there's a lot of people going to be speculating anything he does. In New York, it's difficult to play, but I think he's a character guy. I think they picked up somebody who could be a generational running back. He's very unique. His stature, his ability to catch out the backfield, his make and miss ability. So I think he could be a long-term guy, you know, similar to what Tiki Barber was able to do with the Giants. I think he could do that. I see him as a bigger size Ray Rice. I see him as a bigger Freeman there in Atlanta. Yeah. And I think he has an opportunity to come in and prove that he can play for a very long time.
I think it's the perfect storm. He, as you mentioned, Rashad, he's the #2 pick overall, and he goes to New York. Skip, if he's the 25th pick and he goes somewhere else, even if he's the #2 pick and he goes to somewhere else, doesn't matter. Leonard Fournette was the 4th pick in the draft. He went to Jacksonville. He didn't get this kind of buzz.
Nope.
Zeke Elliott went to not like this kid here. They're talking about Skip.
It was not like this.
They're talking about he's Eric Dickerson and Barry Sanders. I'm like, whoa.
Curtis Martin.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Curtis Martin said, I see Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Brown. Well, how much higher can you go? At least you only went Ray Rice and Freeman, right?
Right. Yeah. And the thing is that because he went to New York, he's the 2nd pick in the draft, and that's the perfect storm. And you look at, like, man, you see he can run back kickoffs, and then he had this great collegiate career. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. We know he can run the ball. So he's automatically going, stop. That is the easiest position to transition. Playing running back in college football and coming to the NFL, it is an easy position, but there's a heap of pressure on him because they believe that this is the missing piece. We got Odell, we got Ingram, we got Shepard. Eli's back, who's won 2 Super Bowls. The defense will be better. We just need someone to give us consistent run game. Mm-hmm. They believe this guy is it, and I agree with you. I don't know if he's hyped, but the pressure is there.
Pressure's there. Facts.
I just couldn't see this Saquon when I watched him on TV in college. I just watch TV. I don't watch coaches' tape. But if I just apply my eye test to what I saw last year, and I watched all the Ohio State game. Were you at that one?
I was.
Yeah. And then I watched the next week at Michigan State, and I watched samples of all other games that he played. But those 2 I watched in full. I got to tell you, he didn't dominate. At Ohio State, he went 21 times for 44 yards, and at Michigan State, 14 times for 63 yards, and Penn State lost both those games. Again, I also watched that Rose Bowl the year before when he had his coming out party, but it looked like it was just a score fest with no defense played by either team, and Darnold and Saquon just kind of went up and back against each other. Can you top this? Yes, I can. Watch this, watch this. Now, he did run the opening kickoff back at Ohio State. So he can do that, and I give you that. Mm-hmm. But I don't see Ezekiel Elliott here. I don't see dominator, difference maker. I do see, to your point, extremely high character. You were around him a good bit. We had him on the show. He is high caliber young man. And that will serve him well, and it will bode well for the Giants. But can he live up to the #1 jersey sale before he's even stepped on the football field? I don't think so. And it feels like New York has decided that he is Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson and Jim Brown.
I don't know about no Barry Sanders now. I hear you.
Saying. I don't get it. I don't know what Curtis Martin was doing. He's a Jet. Was he trying to handicap a new Giant? But he took him under his wing and it's kind of his mentor. So I don't see that. And then we've had quotes about how the Giants' offense is going to be the most explosive in pro football.
Pray for bad weather or injury. That's the only way you're going to be. I'm like,
Y'all don't like those statements?
You said that?
No, I didn't say that. But listen, obviously.
No, because I believe there are 5, 6 offenses off the top of my head. The Steelers, the Patriots, the Rams, the Saints. Minnesota will have a better offense than the Giants.
That's a mouthful right there.
Right, that's tough. I mean, the Giants are tough. They're addressing the offensive line. Like you said, they brought in a tight end that they're comfortable with. They bring it back an offensive coordinator that they love. The defense is going to be stout. It's going to be difficult to beat them.
Okay, but you did not mention the position, the quarterback.
Eli.
And you
Oh, that's
played with
Eli,
him for
baby.
3
What's
years.
up?
Yeah.
Shout out to Eli. I rode with him all day. What's going on?
You know what's up?
You
You know what's
Really?
up?
I know what's up.
Okay,
So
you did know Geno. Geno started the game.
I saw that. Now, what happened the next game?
But to let you know that it happened a game.
Okay, a game. Well, people make decisions. People make decisions.
What great you ever known in this part of their career get benched for one game for a guy that's not going to be the replacement or the future?
Who did that?
The Giants did it.
The Giants or the coach?
Yep.
It seemed like everybody wasn't in the same coach. All I'm going to say is that coach is no longer there.
Right. Yep.
We're moving forward, all right? As a Giant, I believe Coach did what he thought was going to be best for that team at that particular time.
Right.
That's what he did. That's the decision he made.
So let that sink in for a second.
Let that
he
sink
thought
in.
Geno Smith was better than Eli Manning at that time. Geno Smith. That's what he thought. That's what you said.
Situation.
That's it. He did what he thought was best.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remind you of something. The team quarterback by Eli Manning has missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. Not a good sign, not a good look. Eli is getting older. He's now in his 15th season. He's like in LeBron territory, right?
He ain't playing like LeBron, though.
He's
Well, it's
not.
LeBron territory.
Yeah, no, as far as
Just in
longevity.
years.
Yeah.
Just in years. That's it.
So
I'm just trying to
Again,
understand.
okay,
We
this
comparing
is-
Eli to LeBron.
No, I'm not.
I like it.
In
I like
how
it.
long he's
Don't do
been
that. Don't do
playing,
that.
he's
Sorry.
getting
He did it.
he's getting up there in age. He has led this league in interceptions 3 times. There's potential he could do it a 4th time because he will throw it all over the lot. In some games, you just say, "What are you doing?" You just kind of lost
We're
it.
talking about potential. Let's talk about the potential to win a Super Bowl and be MVP twice in it. We want to talk about potential.
When last time that
He
happened?
did.
When the last time it
you
happened?
in-
I don't know. He want to discuss potential. So
Yeah.
Eli has the he
That's
has
all
the
he's
iron.
ever done. He beat Tom
He
Brady
has the iron.
twice.
He has the iron to prove
He
the
does,
fire that
twice.
he's the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
He can lead this team. He can throw every throw. He could be the leader in the huddle. He's a consistent guy, first in, last out type of guy. If the wins are, he's going to blame the wins because of the team, the losses because of him. He's somebody that this team can ride with. He's excited to go in here and prove himself right and shut a lot of people up. That's why I like the guy. He's not worried about anybody else outside that locker room. He's in practice, he's in camp, and he's going to come out and prove himself right, just like he likes to do
been
every
consistent,
single year.
huh?
What'd you say?
He's been consistent, huh?
He's been consistent?
Skip, didn't you say he missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years? So he's been really consistent.
I mean, everybody, listen, ebbs and flows. Perfection is difficult
There's
to
been a lot
see.
of ebbs.
It's a lot of ebbs.
Yeah.
So y'all,
know
what you
that
trying to
Peace
say?
Valley.
So what we saying? We saying you saying y'all don't like?
The comments about this offense, you got to pray for bad weather or injury with this offense.
I wouldn't pray for weather. There's a lot of things I'll pray for in life, and it's not going to be the weather.
To stop the Giants offense,
I mean, to stop the
You think they have one of the top 10 offenses? Because he said,
That's a no. He just gave you a no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm thinking about all. I'm trying to.
I just gave you 5 off the top of my head.
If you ask me with the top 5 anything, I'm going to thinking about it.
Where you going to put the Patriots, the Saints, the Steelers? Let's just go with them for right there. The Rams.
Up there. Definitely up there.
Okay, so where the Giants fit in there?
They definitely have a chance to.
The Falcons.
They definitely have a chance to. With the weapons that they have on that offensive side of the ball, and with you got to accumulate also.
Weapons ain't no good if you don't know how to use it.
Listen, you also got to accumulate that special teams and defense helps in offense, and you got to accumulate that this defense is going to be.
Oh, I believe the defense will
and that's
bounce
going to
back.
put your offense in better positions as well. So we do have to let this thing play out.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to lay it on the table. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, born and raised. I can't help it. It's just in me. I grew up with it. And I do not fear the New York Football Giants as long as Eli Manning is the quarterback. Wow. I did not fear the Redskins as long as Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. So I'm going to put Eli now in the Kirk Cousins mode of I don't fear it.
Come on, man. All right, so talk to me then. All right, you say you're a fan, true in, true out. Who have you ever feared and why?
Who have I ever feared?
Yeah, you said I don't fear them. I don't
Eagles.
fear them.
Eagles.
Now, who have you feared? You fear the Eagles?
Well, and how long are we going back?
Hey, Dallas fans, you have somebody over here that fears people. I just want y'all to know that. Who fears? What you doing? Fear.
Well, the fear. How far back are we going to go? Are we going to go last 10 years or?
However far back your fear goes.
I feared Tom Brady when he came to Jerry World. I feared him, and they just laid it all over us.
Yeah.
We had no shot. It was like 44 to 20 something.
Yeah.
You know?
How you think Dallas is going to do this year? What
I think
foul?
they're
Oh, you know they're going to win the division?
They're
You going to win the division?
Yep.
I mean, you losing
I'm out there.
Dez, you losing the safety
No,
net.
wait, hold on. That was addition by subtraction. That was the best thing that happened to my team in the offseason.
Did I miss
The
something?
decks just got cleared. It's a great thing that we don't have Dez Bryant. We're good.
You're good?
We're better.
You're
without
good
Dez.
without
Yes.
Dez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up.
All right, what about Witten? I mean, that's the safety net. That is the safety net for Dak when he came in the league. I don't know where to go with the football.
Will tell you across
I'm
the
gonna
table.
look for Dak. Tight ends are
he
pivotal.
says he could outrun Jason Witten right here, right now, like in bare feet or
I could.
his
Well,
street
he's
shoes.
he's a rare breed.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. But,
He also he just turned 50. So he says at 50 he could. How old's Jason now? 35.
35.
Yeah.
36, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, I think he came in like 2002.
Yeah.
I get it.
He says he'd get him. So
Yeah.
that's what he could catch it. He could sort of shield people off and screen people out. But after he caught it, he wasn't going anywhere with it.
Yeah, but he's gonna catch it. He's a chains
All
mover.
right, I got
He
that.
wasn't a difference maker
He's a
anymore,
safety net.
but he would move the chains and can keep the offense on the field. So,
Absolutely.
I like how Rashad came here ready to just take on Scamp, like coming on in on the Cowboys. I mean, this is good. You could stick around a little bit longer. We're going to keep you here. We're going to talk about who the best running back is in the NFL, and we're going to put you on the hot seat. So
This
get
is
ready for
easy.
that
Right.
one. That's
Yeah.
next.
it is very easy.
No mercy.
So who is the best running back in the NFL? Well, here are the candidates. First, we have Ezekiel Elliott, who rushed for nearly 1,000 yards in only 10 games last season. Next, Todd Gurley, who was the Offensive Player of the Year and just got a huge contract. And then finally, we're talking about Le'Veon Bell, who had nearly 2,000 total yards, 11 touchdowns last year. We're joined once again by former NFL running back Rashad Jennings. When you hear those three guys, those three names, who's your best?
When you hear those three, I mean, I'm curious as to why one guy is not even on the list. David Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm
That's fair. I'll buy that. He should be on the list somewhere.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm taking my pick, it's him. 2016 led the league in all-purpose yards. That's difficult to do. He played all 16 games. When he's healthy, he's proven that he could be arguably the best running back in the NFL, and he's coming back healthy. So I like to see 4 of them. But between those 3, that's tough. You know, how do you determine what the best is? Are you going by what, catchability? Are you going by moving the chains? Are you going by durability? Are you going by fitting a system? I mean, if I'm a franchise guy, if I'm starting an organization, I'm building a ball club, if I had to pick those 3 to build my team around, man, that's tough. I'll flip a coin, but if I had to pick somebody right now today, I'm going to go with Todd.
Todd Gurley.
Okay.
I went with Le'Veon slightly over Todd for the simple fact of his ability, because both of these guys, when you talk
the other day, you had Todd above.
No, I did not. I did not.
I don't care.
The thing is, Le'Veon, who was most important, more valuable? That's what the question was. But anyway, when you look at it, Le'Veon and Todd, you're splitting hairs. Because both of the guys can run the football, obviously. Both of the guys can catch the football down the field. They line them up in different areas of the field. So this is why I would go Le'Veon, Todd Gurley. But Todd is 3 years younger. So I would not begrudge anybody taking Todd Gurley. So I look at it like this. If we got a draft, and it's like, okay, you got Todd Gurley. I ain't mad about getting Le'Veon. If they say, well, you got Le'Veon, I'm not mad about getting Todd Gurley. But I'm saying I'm taking one of those 2 guys. I'm going to lead towards Le'Veon over Todd. But if you notice, who didn't get selected number 1?
I noticed. Yep.
It was him, me with?
It's just straight hate. It's cowboy hate. You know it,
forgot.
and I know it. And you know in your heart of hearts who you know is the best running back. I know what you think. I can just see it in your body language. I can see it in your
I just said Le'Veon.
You can't help but stifle a grin over it because you know what's happening.
But everybody said Le'Veon to Todd Gurley. Everybody just come up here, running back, all the other guys have said they would take Le'Veon or Todd Gurley over Zeke. It's only you that's stuck on Zeke.
Yeah, it
I'm
sounds
not
like it's
stuck
between
on him.
two.
It's what I see. And when you say, how do you define it? Just what do your eyes tell you? When you do eye test, just TV eye test, who runs harder? Who's harder to tackle? Who dominates? Who takes games over? Who has, as they say, that dog in him? The biggest dog is in Ezekiel
Did you see what
Elliott.
Todd did to you guys last year?
Yeah,
did he take that game
After
over?
Sean Lee was out of the game.
You-
Yep, I saw it. I saw it. Yeah, he caught a ball and nobody was home, and he went like 75 yards right down the guts of the defense.
He rushed for a buck
There was no
22.
Sean Lee. There's no way he breaks that play with Sean Lee.
Oh, yeah, he got that one.
Sean Lee is all over it. Coach on the field. He's the best middle linebacker or linebacker in football.
Do you consider the guy somebody surrounded by as a running back? Like, do you consider who's playing quarterback, who's playing receiver, their defense, the offensive line?
Well, right
Do you
now,
consider that, or
there aren't
just-
many receivers, so it's going to be all run. And I'm already on the record yesterday. I said he is going to break Eric Dickerson's all-time single-season rushing record, 2,105 yards.
Oh, he all in on
Yep,
the Cowboys.
I'm all
This
in.
year?
I gotta-
He's doing it this
I got
year?
to knock on wood. He's got to
Starting
stay
with that.
healthy,
Wood.
and the offensive line's got to stay healthy, obviously. But that's who we're talking about here.
Okay.
This is a dominator. The other guys are all really good, and David Johnson is really good. This guy's in another universe.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Another
he is.
universe?
Yep, he's in another
Oh,
universe.
so
No,
he's
you
not
are
on Earth.
right
He's
now.
not
You
on
remember
Earth.
those 3 games that he played at the end of his sophomore year for Urban?
You know, we talking about NFL.
We're
Yeah,
talking
but
about
you could
college,
see
so
it.
let's talk
You
about
could- no,
Saquon.
this is
Let's
the
talk
biggest,
about.
This is the biggest college you can play. This is the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin, a top 5 defense at that point. He goes for 220. Then he goes for 230 against Alabama's defense in the national semifinal. Then he goes for 246 against Oregon.
Has he had any
in the
200-yard
national
games in the
championship
NFL?
game.
He's an amazing running back.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely
so,
is.
so what did he do as a rookie? He led the NFL in yards.
So did
rush
Kareem
yards.
Hunt.
Okay, what happened last year?
Now, he tried to change that real quick.
Time out. Who led the league last year in yards per game? I know he didn't play all 16 because he got suspended for
Right.
6. Who led the league by far in yards per game? Ezekiel Elliott. So he led it in total yards. He led it in yards per
like
game.
it.
What do you think is going to happen this year? Explosion's going to happen.
I expect him to him to have.
He's great. He's great. He's definitely great. Now, I got an honest question for you because those 3 running backs are awesome. Then can you see which one of these guys do you feel could play on the other team and still be productive at a high level? Do you see Zeke, they could go play for the Rams right now and be productive like
Absolutely.
that? Do you think Gurley could go play with that? Are they all interchangeable, could play with other teams? Because some guys are system guys, we know that, and some guys are just dogs.
But here's the thing.
This guy is the dog. all day.
Skip, you got to understand, Le'Veon caught more balls last year than Zeke caught in his first 2 years.
He did.
So did Todd Gurley caught more balls last year than Zeke did in his first 2 years.
Zeke doesn't have good hands. He has really good hands.
But here's the
They
thing.
just don't do that. That's not their
But to play in
style.
those offenses, the running backs has to do
Okay.
that. So
So you keep saying you can split out Le'Veon. So what? So he's a receiver and a running back?
Yeah,
So what?
that doesn't
What does
matter.
it matter?
the more you can do,
all that matters is can you hand it to him and he can get 6 yards?
yes,
Yes.
all 3 of those guys, can you hand it to them, can
Yeah.
go get you that.
Not like
But-
this guy can consistently
But
get
Todd Gurley and Le'Veon,
who wears down a defense? Who just bludgeons a defense until they say no mas?
no.
Ezekiel
that
Elliott
offensive
does.
line that
The
Dallas
offensive
got.
line is
That just
different. I
bludgeon.
don't think you put it into account them, too.
Yeah.
No, he
Well,
doesn't.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I give you that. But listen, I've seen other backs try to run behind that line, and it's not like this
Darren
guy.
McFadden got 1,000 yards.
He barely
Sure
did.
DeMarco Murray got 1848 behind that line.
It wasn't this line, but it was.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't all
Which line
these
was
same
it?
guys.
Zach Martin,
Which line was
the
it?
top 3 guys were there.
Yeah.
That's all we could.
Lyle Collins is there now.
He was hurt last year.
Yeah.
Whitney ain't there this year. That's all I'm
That's
going to say.
So
That's
are you-
big time. That's a big deal.
So are you saying
But-
the Giants will have a better record than the Cowboys this year?
Where did that come from?
Well,
Did anybody here?
You're
anything?
going there.
He
That's
said,
where it
"Did
came
I
from."
say?"
No,
so you
I'm saying
asked. You said,
that's where
"Did
you're
you
heading.
say?"
Everything you've said
So
is heading
at
toward.
some point, you've heard this
You're
before.
saying that the Giants
Did
could be
you
a top
say
5
the
offense?
Giants? Where did that come from?
The Giants.
Hey, you're hearing a lot of stuff,
The Giants
man.
will be the third
Hey,
place. finisher
is somebody
in this
talking in
division.
your ear?
No.
Because I don't hear none of this stuff you talking about.
He's talking about the Giants going to be third. Let me ask you a question. Who's going to be one in the NFC East?
The Cowboys.
That's not
Obviously.
happening.
This is it. I feel really good about this team. I do.
They beat the Eagles.
You took some emergency this morning, so you should be pepping your step. But you're not winning the division.
I don't even know what emergency
Yeah, it's that little pep up. Little
Really?
Pick me up, yeah.
Is that what you did?
No.
Did you just divulge?
No, I don't need nothing because I feel good every morning.
Really?
Yeah. My guy here in L.A.,
Your guy? You got a supplier? Is that what you're saying? Or?
yeah, my guy.
This
guy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what's up. This guy's
what's
here.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you missed
I
it.
ain't see it.
Oh, Braun?
Okay. Okay.
In,
got the
in your eyes,
James.
Braun's the best running back. In,
Oh, he could have been. He'd have been a heck of a tight end.
What?
He'd have been
been a good
Gronk.
tight end?
He'd have been Gronk. He too big to play any other position. What is he gonna play?
Why you think
Braun's
he's been a
gonna-
good tight end?
Braun's going to go over
That's
the
a
middle?
different sport now.
Oh yeah. Oh, he'd have been. I mean, 6'9". What else he gonna play?
When he gets blasted over the middle, is he going to come back?
He
for
tough.
another one?
LeBron tough. You see him get stitches in his eye,
Durable, yeah.
broke his nose,
his
play
eye.
with a mask, drop 61 on the Hornets.
I mean, that's a
with
different-
a broken nose.
Yeah, but he'd
I
cramp
don't know
up
about that.
fast, and he'd be going right.
Oh, it's
up
a different
to the-
mentality. That's a whole different ball. Football and basketball players are wired differently.
Try to hang out with this group enough, you realize that it always comes back to this guy at some point.
Yeah.
At some point. Thank you for being here. It was always good to get
Good
your
looking
take.
out, bro.
Way to go.
Is Jon
Good job.
Gruden out of touch with today's NFL? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Jon Gruden is back coaching on the sidelines for the first time in a decade. He's already joked about not relying on modern technology, and he's been showing his team clips of players from the 1970s and 80s. Gruden addressed this yesterday. Take a listen.
Landry and Walsh and Chuck Noll weren't bad coaches. You know, they did some good things. And they did some good things from a fundamental drill standpoint, too, and showing guys the drills that Jerry Rice did, showing them how Roger Craig practiced. You know, those can be great teaching moments. And look, we're not running a 1964 operation here. But there are some things that happened in 1964 that were pretty damn good. And if you don't think so, go ahead and have a nice day.
I mean, he's always going to have a good time with it. I'm just wondering if that footage is black and white, but that's probably not that far
Yes.
back. Shannon, is Gruden out of touch with today's NFL?
I believe he is, Skip, because I think the thing is what he fails to realize is that the players are so much different than they were when he last coached. This social media thing and the branding. Skip, when John coached, it was basically the quarterbacks were the only ones that had a brand. They were really only the faces. Not everybody, even offensive linemen, D linemen, everybody has a social media account. Instead of guys, it used to be as guys started getting year 10, year 12, they started thinking about what they're going to do after football. Guys hit the door now thinking about post-career, how to build, quote unquote, their brand. The game of football is so much more specialized now. It's played in space. A decade ago, it was two running backs, a running back and a fullback, a tight end, two wide receivers. Now almost everyone starts the game in a three wide receiver set with one running back. It's just different. He was the one that said he's taking it back to 1998. Nobody said that. He said that. It's different. I believe he will struggle to relate to the players. I believe he will struggle with all the analytics and all the stuff that wasn't in play when he last coached. So, yes, I do believe he's out of touch, and I definitely believe he will struggle.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how much I disagree with every word that just spilled out of your mouth.
Not the first time.
Because this is just such a silly notion to think Jon Gruden is out of touch when I can make a case he's more in touch than any coach coaching today in the NFL. Because what has Jon done for the last 9 years of his life?
Right.
He's been in ESPN's Monday Night Football booth. What does that require you to do? As Jenny knows from her job, you travel from city to city, week after week after week, for some preseason games and the whole regular season.
Right.
And all you do is sit with coaching staffs and pick their brains about philosophy, approach, mindset, all those good things. So you're really, really keeping up with the game because you're hearing it from everybody. You can mix and match philosophies and you can say, oh,
They're not telling him everything because they knew he was going to get back in.
because they trust him. They trusted Jon, and they knew they could trust him to tell him some things off the record that would not spill out on national TV. And then what has Jon done every offseason for the last 9 years? He has run Gruden's quarterback camp, or whatever you want to call it, where all of the top quarterbacks, they all made dates because their agents all wanted them to have a session with Jon Gruden down in Tampa. And they would sit with him, and what would Jon do in those sessions?
Put him on the board.
He would really get inside their brains and their psyches, and he would spend full days with them on and off the practice field, just really getting to know their mindset and what makes them tick so he could draw conclusions on who he liked the most in the draft. By the way, he loved Johnny Manziel going in there. He said he would take Johnny Manziel #1 overall. But the point is, he got inside those kids' head. He stayed young. And by the way, he's got 3 sons. I think they're all kind of in their 20s.
Yeah.
You know? So it's not like he's just disconnected from life in 2018. He's been preparing for this for 9 years.
You got control over your boys. I can tell you what he hasn't done in a long time. Got a decent haircut. Have you seen that bowl cut he got, Jenny? But here, that's not.
So now you have to reach for a personal shot.
That's not personal. Here's the thing, Skip.
He's had the same haircut for his whole life.
Part of his image.
For $100 million, you got to get one better. You better go to Frederick Fakao, somebody that's really nice and get a
fancy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Where do you get yours cut?
At my house.
It's even more fancy.
Being in the booth and breaking down game tape is one thing. Being on the sidelines and getting and making in-game adjustments are something entirely different.
Has he done it in his life?
Yeah.
Did he not do it at the highest level for the Oakland Raiders? Did he not win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
That's 10 years ago. Even the greatest
Not
doctors.
forever ago.
Skip. So let me ask you a question. If you're a profession, doctor, don't you have to go back and get specialized and get brushed up on stuff? So you just like, oh, I'm good here. I just be away for 10 years. So what profession can you do that? Just like 10 years, just pick right back up? No, that's not how it works, Skip Bayless. You know it. I understand that Coach Gruden is your friend. My brother, he was my brother's position coach when he was in Green Bay. My brother swears by Jon Gruden.
He was a rising star in Philadelphia with the Eagles, then in Green Bay, Andy Reid. You know, he comes from that tree of knowledge.
Yeah, got me a Super Bowl courtesy of old Coach Gruden.
Oh, so that's how you're doing it. Yeah.
Skip, I'm just trying to.
Is it his fault? Is it your
Whoa. He's the head coach. He's the head coach. You could have told Chuck Bresnahan not to call that defense. Why are you running a blitz or 3rd and 18 from the 4-yard line, Skip Bayless? But that's neither here nor there.
Did he get that team to the AFC Championship game? He did.
He did. Skip.
Did he get robbed by the Tuck Rule decision?
He did not. He got robbed.
Oh. That team was going to go a long way.
Oh, so take one of those Super Bowls away from Tom, so he got 4. But we're not talking about that.
I just told you they got robbed.
We're not talking about that. But Skip, it's hard for you not to see that being away, Jenny, for something for 10 years. Breaking down
away. He didn't go do some other profession for 10 years, right?
Breaking down game tape and he wasn't breaking down game tape to come up with a game plan. That's different than looking at this, okay, this and this formation, so this is what they like to run.
You know, once upon a time, Jon Gruden was considered a boy genius in the league as he was coming up the ranks, calling plays for the various Brett Favres.
Yeah.
You think he's just lost that? It just went away? If you don't use it, you lose it?
Tevin Campbell was once called a boy genius. He was supposed to be the next Stevie Wonder, the next Michael Jackson.
Okay.
You heard of him lately? I think he's on Broadway right now.
See the plays Jon called in the Super Bowl against his old team because he knew everything they were about to do? Yeah.
But you see all those Hall of Famers he had on defense? Warren Sapp, first ballot. Derek Brooks, first ballot. Okay. John Lynch is going to get in. You can make a case Simeon Rice deserved to be in.
Boy, also Barber. How about Jerry Rice and Tim Brown and Bill Romanowski? And that Oakland team was loaded.
We cooked them.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring up the studying, though, because I think of our colleague Joel Klatt. I work with on college football, and I have never seen someone study and prepare. And I often say, you could be a coach. He is so well prepared, and I mean, it's not like he's gone anywhere. No. I have to disagree with you a bit on this, Shannon. I'm sorry. He hasn't gone anywhere.
Trouble in paradise again.
So let me guess. So if you're a school teacher and you just teach at home for the next 10 years, you just teach you're not in the classroom. You're not in the classroom. You're not teaching anyone. You don't have any students.
Okay.
And then here we are teaching. Whoa! Skip it. Can I finish? Analogy. You gonna let me finish? You gonna let me finish making my point? And so 10 years later.
Have you been a school teacher before?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but you've been away for 10 years. You haven't been back in the classroom. And now all of a sudden, instead of writing on the chalkboard, they got iPads. They got Surfaces. And the kids, they got their cell phone in class, and they texting, and they scrolling the internet. How you gonna handle that, Skip Bayless?
Oh, you can't. You're just going to run out the door screaming because you have no chance.
And when they look at you like you crude, when they making more money, they're looking at you like you crazy.
His problem is his quarterback. Is he going to play up to what Derek Carr can be or can't be? I don't know. But the division is much more winnable than it was over the last 5 years because all of a sudden your team took a big step back.
No, they
right?
didn't. How did they take a step back?
They just...
How
many of your stars are no longer stars?
This is why he doesn't relate, because he thinks he can still. He hadn't picked up the phone and called Khalil Mack. The best player on his team has had no contact with him. That's first and foremost. You're making my point, Skip Bayless. You see how out of touch he is?
Please.
Where they do that at?
What does Bill Belichick do? Does he pick up?
Whoa! You said he Bill Belichick?
That was our hot topic of the day, presented by AARP. We will be right back.
Bill picked up the phone all the time talking to Jimmy G.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Tiger Woods is on the course right now at the Bridgestone Invitational. He's currently 2 under through 7 holes. Tiger has won this tournament 8 times, including his last PGA Tour win in 2013. Shannon, can you see Tiger winning this week?
I just don't see him putting together those 4 rounds that it takes to win a tournament. Now, he's won this 8 times. He's very comfortable on this golf course.
Very. And they haven't changed it none. It's the very same golf.
And if he's to win one, it's going to be this one. But I just don't see him winning it this year, Skip. 49 of the top 50 golfers are here today.
No, this is loaded.
And you're going to have to go low every day. This shooting 2 under, now he's 2 under before the turn. So he's going to have to finish at 5.
In the back 9.
Right. So he's going to have to be at somewhere around 5 because 2 under today. Guess what? I guarantee you tomorrow the low score will be at least 12 under.
Yep.
So you can't be -6 and have a chance to win this thing. So
Still,
I'm saying top 5.
I still believe he'll be in contention to the back 9 on Sunday. I have yet to see the body language that shows me he trusts himself enough to close a deal.
Right.
This is going to be a loaded leaderboard with players who no longer fear Tiger's presence on the leaderboard. They're not intimidated anymore. So love to see it. This is a lot of the experts are picking him to win this one, so I would love to see it, but I'm going to believe it when I see it on Sunday.
I say he'll be top 5. Yeah. He'll be top 5 because what happened at the British Open? Skip, that was his for the taking. All he has to do is just finish it off. He played 2.5 really, really good rounds, almost great rounds, and then he couldn't close the deal on the back 9. Well, you believe it?
I just want
I want him to win too.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.